very much there, Simon. Love how the soldiers always look so polished and put together. And Derrick tried. Not so close, but looking nice and shiny this morning. Derrick Wilks is the director of OAaSIS International. He's here with Kandi-Lee Crooks-Smith, who's the principal of the Allman Primary School. Good morning to you both.
Morning.
OAaSIS is an organization that's seeking to develop young people, specifically through the arts. Simon and I were talking about it this morning, and he said pretty much that he thought that this was already being done, but there is a more significant focus. Is there not, Kandi? Tell me a little bit about it.
Well, the reality is, in most public primary schools, that is not being done. My school, for example, we were not privy to an art teacher, a music teacher, a PE teacher, because basically they're saying we don't have the numbers to support the extra teachers or the specialists.
Really?
Yes, and that is the reality of the Jamaican education system.
Is that the reality of the Jamaican primary school, or is that the reality of the Jamaican education system?
For most, particularly the public education system.
Because the prep schools always have the music teacher.
Yeah.
Because they have far more support from the PTA and the alumni.
Right.
Wow. So, but this project is looking at all schools across the board, or is the focus specifically, Derrick, on the primary schools or the schools that are not able to kind of sustain
well, first of all,
kind of programs?
We're not reinventing the wheel, and we're doing it systematically, starting out with a manageable program, and then we see how we can expand it outward to broaden the reach. When we went to Allman Town, for instance, that was a thrilling experience for me personally, because you recognize that a lot of people in media and communications have at least a basic interest in the arts, whether it be the performing arts or the visual arts, and so you bring that to bear on the situation. You see, how can you use your own experiences through the arts and as a communication specialist to inspire those young people, which is what we sought to do, and it worked.
We underestimate the role that arts can play. Not everybody is a bookie. I mean, I understand that you have to teach reading, writing, arithmetic, I get that, but in order to make your child as rounded as possible, you really can't ignore the arts.
I have found as well that if you really want to make them a bookie, the traditional bookie, because we all want our children to grow up lawyer, doctor, policeman, teacher, if you can inspire them to read, and that is also a part of the arts, that's literary arts, which we also seek to promote. You know, if you can interest them in stories, instead of, allowing them to stay glued to the TV until 10:30 and then usher them to bed, interest them by taking up the book and reading to them, bring the characters to life and act it out, role play.
Go ahead.
I'm going to be quoting from the new revised primary curriculum.
Okay.
And I pulled this from the visual arts and the music section of the curriculum. And they're saying that whilst most pupils may never become proficient creators of art, all can and should become as adults visually, aesthetically and culturally literate and competent consumers and informed observers. The aesthetics develop the skills of adaptability, innovativeness and problem solving. Now, why wouldn't we want all our children exposed to these skills?
Right, but many schools, for example yours, can't afford to take on teachers just to teach what people think, a lot of people think is just a waste
of time. That's true.
So then OAaSIS has a task now of getting in and trying to change attitudes, which is the hardest thing to do, but you're taking it on anyway.
Yes.
And to fill the need, because we recognize that the government in and of itself cannot fill all of these voids. And so this is where private initiative has to step in and play an active role.
So do you have a lot of support?
Well, in terms of the school's end, through OAaSIS, I actually received an interest from the Multicare Foundation to say they want to come in and do art. So I can't afford to have the art teacher, but they'll come in, they bring the resources, they bring all the material, they teach our teachers, and they let them loose on the students.
That's great.
Allman has basically paid for a music teacher for me for a year. No, I mean, that is like a blessing.
And I can only imagine how the kids love it. I mean,
oh gosh.
Such a change from what it is that they usually do.
And I think naturally though, the inner city students they are naturally artists and artistes. It's something that's innate, I don't know, but it's like they were born with this, and this is how they express themselves, and this is how they do well when we allow them to use the aesthetics, even in the regular classroom presentations.
Yeah. So in real terms, what you guys have been doing is a series of workshops. Derrick, can you tell me about that? You had some folks who are established in the business who have been helping you guys out a lot, your patrons. Tell us about it.
Uncle Barry, forgive me if I refer to notes, but you know I can't confine everything to ailing memory.
It's okay.
But yes, we've had great assistance, and we're also seeking to broaden that by inviting people to come on board. They can always log on to the website. There's a vast amount of information available at OAaSISinterntional.org, and they can just click and surf through, and I'm sure their interest will be piqued because the work is really phenomenal, and it requires more hands. Those of us that are there, the number is small right now, but
how small?
The ambition is tremendous.
Yeah. And you have a good in because you're already in media, so you can get a lot of support that way. I know some of the artists who are on board, Farenheit, for example, even Elaine, your networking, Derrick, would help to kind of, So what's in the future for you guys? You have some ongoing projects that you're working with. Your aim is to do what? Get into as many schools
Get into as many schools as possible where they don't have an arts program, and intervene. See how we can use our position as a leverage to get, as in the case of Allman Town, those who have the competence, the skills, and the infrastructure to intervene and make it happen. We find that, I mean, any parent will tell you that a child who reads, a child who expresses himself or herself in any art form does so much better academically. And you see the balance. I mean, we could remember Professor Rex at this point and talk about his own development as an artist and look at the academic equilibrium to balance him and make him such a magnificent orator and statesman, icon even.
From your research, have you found that most schools are in need of this, or are most schools incorporating some kind of artistic development in their program?
I think most schools are trying to do the incorporation now. For example, I have a drama teacher, but I took the teacher on as a regular classroom teacher, and I had to do some shifting around to make that person just right, to make him my drama teacher. A lot of schools are doing that. We have to do a lot of shifting and you know, redeploy staff just to get the program going and to make it work for us, just to make it work for us.
I'm telling you, that's very sad. I mean, as somebody who was very involved in drama and arts and so on, it completely made me such a better person, I think, a more rounded person. And to just have that option and that avenue for expression is critical. So if folks want to get in touch with OAaSIS, Derrick, what is the website? You said
OAaSIS International, OAaSIS
OAA
with 2 A's, international.org. They can call 412-9766, and Anthea, the founder, is
always available.
Always available.
Always available.
Well, clearly, it's a worthwhile project, so she doesn't sleep, does she?
No, she doesn't.
There's somebody else around here. All right, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Kandi-Lee Crooks-Smith, principal of Allman Town Primary, and Derrick Wilks, director of OAaSIS International and senior producer of RJ94 FM. Here he sounds polished and speaks with a resonance and from his diaphragm, trained, and all the rest of it. We'll take a break on Smile Jamaica. What are we coming back with, Gandhi? Crochet, designer out of Manchester. We'll introduce her to her when we come back.